Good morning and welcome to Morning Java, brought to you as always by our friends at, I have it around here somewhere, the Get Go Cafe and Market, where Hunter Homestead, they're still open.
They're still open. And I love the Wayne's World product placement you got there. You know, one of my favorite movies of the 90s. Absolutely. So anytime you can just plug something, it's always a good call.
Yeah, that's right. It's handy and available. The NFL draft is just a few days away, and it's amazing how much, when you think of the NFL draft, it applies the same way with the NCAA tournament and Dick Vitale that you think of Mel Kiper. I really feel like a lot of the football community, maybe most of the football community, has moved away from Mel Kiper. You know, Mike Mayock originally came in and kind of stole that thunder before he went on to become AB's babysitter out in Oakland.
That's exactly what I was going to say. Well done.
But there are others. There are a lot of other draft nicks that I think people look to, the more serious football fans, than they do Mel Kiper. But he's still around, and he still has a voice, and he still has the poof and the presence and everything else. And he said on Tuesday morning in his latest mock draft that the Steelers will take Jalen Hurts. Anyone who doesn't know, that's a quarterback. And for anyone else who doesn't know this, they're not taking a quarterback, are they?
There's zero chance. I mean, look, this whole season hinges around Ben's health, just as the last one did. If Ben Roethlisberger is back and healthy, a quarterback is the absolute last thing the Steelers are thinking about right now. They've doubled down on their investment in Ben. They've stuck by Ben through the injury. This is about Ben. But after Ben, it's then about Mason. They've shown no reason to not invest and trust Mason. Everything they've said to this point says, hey, we like Mason Rudolph as a backup quarterback for Ben Roethlisberger. Whether all the talking heads think he's not that or not, the Steelers do, and that's what counts here. So, no. Jalen Hurts, no.
See, to me, this is lazy. This is the most casual, distanced from Pittsburgh's reality observation you can make. Well, Ben was hurt all of last year, and they had these other quarterbacks, so it stands to reason they'd want a quarterback without actually doing any homework. Like, find out, A, something about Mason Rudolph, anything about Mason Rudolph. And then B, just listen to what they say. Look at the impassioned defense that Mike Tomlin specifically went on to ESPN, which is still Kiper's employer, right? I mean, I'm guessing he was watching this.
Absolutely. And I don't know enough about the guy to know what his motive is with this, to know if the bosses told him, stir up some interest, Mel. You know, we need the hits in this.
I mean, it's a second-round pick. I mean, it's still a second-round pick. If you're going to go with stirring up interest, you're not going to do it with 49 overall, no matter who the team is.
That's definitely true. But you talk about the Steelers and you talk about what they think they have in Mason. And my whole thing with this is, like you said, if you want to lazily look at Mason's stats last year and say, oh, Ben went down and the Steelers missed the playoffs, the quarterbacks must have been the problem. Quarterbacks definitely did not play super well.
Including Mason.
Mason, including Doug, any of them. We're not blowing the doors off of anybody. But you think about the season that Mason had. First of all, replacing a future Hall of Famer for one of the most lauded franchises on earth, that's a lot to ask of a guy. And then you go and get knocked out cold in a game when you're finally finding your rhythm. You come back, you get bludgeoned on the field at the end of the Browns game by Myles Garrett and all the racist allegations that come out of that. And then you suffer a season-ending injury after that, after all the dust settles. So Mason just couldn't escape the fire last season.
And as a result, the one thing that we didn't get to see from him was the ability to make the reads, in order to find the confidence to make throws to guys who, as Randy Feitner elegantly put it at one point during the season, they're NFL open, not college open. In college, you have to, be 6 yards open in order to make a decision to throw. In the NFL, it's a tight window, and you've got to respect and trust your receivers and just put it there. He started to get to that point, and then again, like you said, he still goes down in the Jets game when it looked like he was starting to find something. Remember the terrific pass to Deontay Johnson and everything. Mason Rudolph's the backup quarterback for this team. Jalen Hurts will not be a Steeler. I'll take this a step further. I don't see the Steelers spending any of their draft picks on a quarterback. Usually you like to do that as a team, because the position's so important. I don't believe that'll be the case this year because, they have 4. You might not like them, but you have 4 guys that you're going to bring into camp, and you really only need one of those to stay healthy.
Absolutely. Yeah, that's the whole thing with this conversation I can't get past. If Ben's healthy, literally none of the rest is going to matter.
So I think we are agreed that the Steelers are going to draft a running back, probably with that 49th overall pick. Are you with me on that?
I am with you. Even though I may have my own views on that, I do think that's what's going to happen.
Okay. Now, one thing that never comes up, at least I never hear it anywhere, is if they went out and they addressed other needs. Remember, they did this last year too, through free agency and the draft. I mean, it was a mirror. It was crazy last year where there was 3 needs that they had. So they went and got 3 big free agents for those needs. And then the top 3 picks in the draft were all the same type of player. Mark Barron equals Devin Bush, not talent-wise, obviously. Just, you know what I'm saying?
Yep.
And then here this year, they go and they addressed some needs. They needed a defensive tackle. They went and they got Chris Wormley. They needed an offensive lineman. They got Stefan Wisniewski. They really needed a tight end. They really got one with their team run. What didn't they get?
A running back.
A running back. Why not?
Man, I think this is a super deep draft class for running back. Well, I shouldn't say deep. It's top heavy. The first 10 are like surefire, NFL ready. They're going to do some stuff in a rookie. I'm not saying Saquon Barkley level, but I'm saying consistent starter playmaker level, and you can go pretty deep with it. So I think the Steelers feel confident that they can get that guy. And the running back, veteran running backs, I mean, who's really out there right now? Like, you think of Dante Freeman, maybe LaShawn McCoy, somebody like that. Is that really going to be better than a J.K. Dobbins or one of these guys?
Well, that depends on your timeline.
Sure.
See, I'll make an argument that 2020 is going to be the primary thought process of everybody involved with the Steelers because of the obvious, which is, Ben Roethlisberger and Marquise Pouncey and whatever else. Those are the guys that when you lose them, that's when you start seeing the offense just,
right.
So I could at least make an argument that if you bring in Shady specifically, and you don't make him a starter, because let's be real here. I think there's a perception across the nation that whoever they bring in the draft is going to supplant James Conner as starter. No.
Right.
No. That child, whoever that is, no matter how talented, no matter what they do in Latrobe, is not going to be trusted to go out there with 30, 32 touches until they have proven to Mike Tomlin up, down, and sideways that they will be secure with the ball. And please spare me that James Conner fumbled this time, that time, or whatever. James Conner's been in the NFL.
Sure.
Okay? Conner's going to get that nod. You agree?
Absolutely. Conner's been to the Pro Bowl, and this is one thing that I talked to Benny Snell last season probably 30 times about this. Every time I wanted to talk to him about running the football, he would talk about pass protection and pass protection and catching the ball and receiving the ball.
Wonder why?
Because those things really matter in the NFL. All these guys can run the football. This is what they've been doing their whole life. They can all do that. It's the little extra things that they're going to look for. Just like you said, Tomlin is not going to throw that guy out there until he proves he can do it all and not make mistakes, because these things really matter. They're so overlooked by the 60-yard touchdown runs and everything, but the coaches care more about that.
So now in that environment, in that setting, Shady will probably cost no more than 2. Okay.
Yeah.
And that actually is affordable. Even though their heads are against the cap, you can restructure half of one guy and
Sure.
get 2. Shady has a little bit of something left in the tank. If he gets the ball and runs it 9-10 times a game, I'm picturing of the impact that D'Angelo Williams had when he came and spelled Le'Veon, and he was a different type of runner. And all the offensive linemen used to talk about that because D'Angelo would do these slash lines while Le'Veon was doing the delay and then finding the hole and then kind of doing his dance to get out there. And it gave the defenses just a completely different look. Shady is a different type of running back than James Conner is. I think you could present them in a different way. I'm not saying, okay, I'm not going to jump on some crusade here. I don't feel that strongly about it. I'm just surprised they apparently didn't even consider it.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting to me too. But like I said, I think it's more about this running back class and what's available
Mm.
there, and just the way the modern NFL is. You want these running backs on rookie deals. We've seen it so many times now. Run that dude into the ground and let him go off. I don't know that I necessarily agree with that strategy that we're seeing. Like, it's nice to see Christian McCaffrey get paid and the Panthers really invest in him, but that's a unique talent right there. That's not fair to compare anybody to what he can do. But I think they just like this draft class a lot, like the running back prospects. And look, I'll say this. I just said that I talked to Benny Snell a lot. We obviously developed a rapport. There's no reason he can't be better next year. We look at the jump that Le'Veon Bell made in year 2, the jump that James Conner made in year 2. Sometimes running backs lose a little weight, gain a little speed and agility, and that can make all the difference in year 2. So Snell has the college pedigree and had some reps. Looked good when he got 20 carries when he became the featured back last season. Got a couple 90-yard games under his belt. There's no reason he can't be better next year.
Ah, heck, his name's an adjective, right? Benny Snell
Nice.
football.
Benny Snell football.
Social media, more or less now.
So much more.
It's so sad too, isn't it?
It is. I felt bad about my usage before, man, to be totally honest with you. Like, it's an embarrassing amount of screen time per week for me.
Oh, and they can now, there's a thing on Apple where they time you, and if you just for your own, hey, by the way, you realize you've been on the phone an average of 8 hours a day or something, and you're like, really? That's it? Just 8?
Just 8? Yeah, I know. I got my first screen time report, and that's kind of what I was like. It's like, not as bad as I thought. Now, granted, it was horrible. It was horrendous.
Yeah.
But yeah, not as bad as I thought. But I do love how they make you feel bad about that.
Yeah, no, it's great though. It's kind of like a cigarette warning label, that comes with the phone. But in all the time that you're on there, and a lot of obviously what we're looking at is sports Twitter or sports Facebook or whatever it is, it's just become so lame. I'm sorry. We have run out of debates and stuff to talk about, and we're bringing back Terry Bradshaw comparisons and stuff, and Terry Bradshaw hasn't thrown a football in 40 years. And it's like, it's just so bad. Is there anything redeeming or worthwhile on Twitter or Facebook at this point?
Oh man, I love hypotheticals probably more than the average Joe. I think I love debating things that have no real answer just for the sake of debating. I love all the graphics and pick 2, pick 3. You have $50, pick 3 players, things like that. Some of my favorite stuff, and I'm tired of it. The other day, I got in a debate with Carter on Twitter, and I couldn't even finish it.
It might have been Christmas.
It may have been Christmas. I don't know what day it is clearly, but I got in a debate with Carter, and we went back and forth probably like 5 times, and I was like, it's not even fun for me. Like, I'm not even having fun with this.
No, and when it's not fun arguing with Carter, it's not fun
right.
at all.
Right.
The only things that I have found of any worth right now, I hate to say this, I hate to admit this, but it has been just, because it's going to sound so sappy and syrupy and whatever else, but has just been trying to help people. I mean, it's just because at least that feels real.
Yeah.
It is real. If you're there, we've had a couple of, by that I say, when I say we, I mean me and the Twitter followers, and now me and some of the subscribers on the site, good conversations. Let's talk. Let's talk about your frustrations and whatever. That's, to me, is the best of social media. Whenever it's a connection. It's a real thing,
Absolutely. You know what I think makes it a little stronger too is our city, man. Just watching the way the city of Pittsburgh has rallied around and really taken it seriously. Pittsburgh, for sure, people have been getting some flack for still congregating in parks and whatnot. But for the most part, like you wrote, Allegheny County, Pittsburgh's doing an incredible job.
We're winning. The numbers don't lie.
Absolutely.
Everyone else can be afraid to say this and worry about, who's hypersensitive to, you can't say that because that means now all of a sudden everybody's going to. No, they're not. You're winning. Okay, everybody's now kind of already in this thing. If I guarantee you, if the decree came from Governor Wolf that tomorrow everything just goes, that's it, all over, shoot off some fireworks, light up the skyscrapers, and we're all done and it's all good. You really think that everybody would just no
Not a
chance?
chance. 0% chance. My wife and I were just talking about that. Like, how long into the future do you think it'll be, even once we're clear, that we'll really feel like we're in the all clear? This is going to linger, man.
Oh yeah. Oh no, there's no question about it. You're gonna see masks. You're gonna see people, especially older people. I really believe this. Are gonna be staying at home and being extra careful. And I'm not saying that that's wrong, but I'm saying that even when there's a vaccine and everything else, this is going to have a long-lasting effect. Last thing I'll ask you before we go: handshakes, dead or not?
Oh, they're dead. They're so
Really?
dead. You're
never going to shake anybody's hand again.
I think I'm going for fist bump. See, I was always kind of a hugger. Like, if I know you, you're getting
Okay,
hugs,
run fist bumps past the medical community and see what they have to say.
Are they more filthy or something?
No, they're not more, but it's the same thing. What they'll tell you is that if you do this, okay, you're still making some kind of whatever, but you're also still in proximity. That person coughs on you, whatever else. The real variable is hands to the face. I sound like I'm talking about NFL penalties.
Yeah,
here.
third flag.
But that's the thing. You can do anything you want with the hands. Just don't go sticking them in your mouth or up your nose or whatever. You keep them where they belong.
Oh, well, then I'm out. I touch my face way too much. I've noticed. I've been like trying to track it. I'll just be here scrolling Twitter, whatever, and notice my hands are all over my face.
You were this close to admitting nose picking. You were.
I was, but I'm a pro. So I bottled that up.